So in this lesson, we are going to talk about les prépositions de lieu. Les prépositions de lieu. Prepositions of, is it a preposition of place? For example, you'd want to say inside of something or outside of it, in front of it, opposite, behind, next to, and so on and so forth. So if you want to provide a location location of something, you can use these phrases. For example, you can say dans. Dans. Dans simply means inside. Inside of something. And you can also say devant. Devant means in front of. Devant means in front of. And then derrière. Derrière means behind. To the right of, when you want to say to the right of something, you say à droite de. À droite de. And next to something, près de. Next to, près de. On top of, or just saying on something. On top of, you say sur. Sur. And the opposite of it, which is under, is sous. So get the difference between the two. Sur and sous. En face de is opposite of. En face de. À gauche de, to the left of. À gauche de. Loin de means far from. Far from. So let's write some examples here. So I want to say next to the bank. La banque is the bank. So if I want to say next to the bank, I can say près de la banque. Près de la banque. Près de la banque. So you can use that to make a sentence. You can say, I live next to the bank. If you say, I live next to the bank, you would say, j'habite près de la banque. J'habite près de la banque. That is to say that I live near the bank. So this près has got accent grave or this falling accent. So make sure you pay attention to it. This one here, we didn't have that, so let me correct it. Près de. So I can say, j'habite près de la banque. I live next to the bank. Let's use an example. Let's create another example with l'école. L'école is school. So I can say that, okay, let's still use j'habite. I live far from the school. Live far from the school. Far from is loin de. Loin de. So I can say j'habite loin de l'école. J'habite loin de l'école. J'habite loin de l'école. I live far from the school. L'église is a church. So when you talk about the church, you say l'église. Let's use en face de, opposite the church. What would you say? Do we still want to use j'habite? Because we could simply say j'habite en face de l'église. I live opposite the church. Or let's use the third person pronoun. We could say he lives opposite of the church. He is il habite en face de l'église. He lives opposite the church. We can use this next word, restaurant. Restaurant, the same way it is in English, is a restaurant. So we can say, let's use dans. So we can say, what is inside the restaurant? Let's say the chair is in the restaurant. So we say la chaise. La chaise is the chair. La chaise est dans le restaurant. La chaise est dans le restaurant. The chair is inside the restaurant. L'hôtel. L'hôtel is a hotel. Let's use derrière. Derrière. So let's assume you are giving somebody direction. So you tell the person, pass behind the hotel. Passez derrière l'hôtel. Passez. Okay, let's use vous. Vous passez derrière l'hôtel. You pass behind the hotel. So vous passez derrière l'hôtel. You pass behind the hotel. I have another example here. Vous allez vers la gauche. So as the person is giving you direction, saying, okay, vous allez, or let me assume I'm giving you direction. So I'm telling you, vous allez vers la gauche. You go towards your left. And then I can also say, vous tournez à droite. You turn to your right. À droite, you remember we said à droite de means to the right of. So if you want to say turn to the right of something, then you would use the article de. But if you just want to say turn to your left, you would say vous tournez à droite. That is basically just turning to your left. You don't need to use the word do. Now there are two ways of giving instructions here. In these two examples, what you can see here is that in this first part we have conjugated the verb aller. So we say vous allez vers la gauche. But in this second one we are saying aller vers la gauche. So you can give instructions for someone to turn to the left by either using the subject vous allez vers la gauche, or basically just saying allez vers la gauche. You can say vous tournez à droite or tournez à droite. In the second part, or in the second example, the verbs are not conjugated. But this is a common practice in written French. It's not commonly used verbally. You don't use it in the spoken French. But in the written French, you can, when you're writing instructions for somebody, you are trying to give them direction to a certain place, you can, in the short form, just write aller vers la gauche, tourner à droite, passer par la banque, monter sur l'avenue, sur la rue, all that. You can use that in the infinitive form, the verbs in the infinitive form in the written French. But when you're speaking, the most common practice is to use this first example where you are addressing the person. So you're talking to the person. You're telling the person, vous allez vers la gauche, you go towards the left. Vous tournez à droite, you turn to your right. Or vous passez par la banque, or you pass by the bank. Et puis, and then, vous allez vers, and so on and so forth.